Good afternoon and welcome to the Kerry Garden Show. Alan Finn here with you again at Boyles of Killorglin, and I'm joined by our gardening expert Miguel here for another 15 minutes of colour here in the Garden Show. We've got lots of colour here, Miguel. I'm liking the look of it. How are you?
I'm alright, thank you. I'm alright. How are you?
I'm good. So we have got a lot of annuals here in front of me. So what does that mean? What are we going talking about, Miguel?
So we're going to talk about hanging baskets, about window boxes, and you can use these plants in borders as well.
Okay.
If you have a few gaps, you can use them in borders. Believe it or not, none of those are annuals.
Oh, they're not?
They're all perennials.
Perennials.
But they behave as annuals here in Ireland, unless you have a very sheltered area.
Okay, so I thought I was getting it completely wrong there. I was actually going, oh my God, I've just lost all my credibility, whatever little I had.
Well, believe it or not, they are all perennials.
Okay. They behave like annuals here because of the climate?
Because of the weather.
Okay, right.
If you have a very sunny area, sheltered area, and you leave the petunias, next year you'll have petunias.
Okay.
And they will be very leggy initially. You can cut them back and they will start coming again. We all know about the dahlias. We all know about geraniums. Geraniums are quite hardy. Even those fellas are half hardy. I think I told you.
They can be October, November very easily, can't they?
7 years I had
7
one.
7 years, yes, that's right.
Yeah, I had one, 7 years, still missing.
Yeah.
And I saw in Jack's 2 winters ago in Cremont, in Christmas, a white one in full bloom.
Wow.
And I thought it was plastic.
Yeah.
I went to the corner and I saw it was a small
covered area. Okay.
Not covered, but the roof was overlapping a little bit, and it was sheltering that thing in a large pot. I really went and checked if it was real because I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
So they are quite hardy. They should come back unless we have a very hardy summer. Dahlias, you know about them. Everybody knows about them probably.
Yeah. Beautiful dainty.
You should lift the tubers out of the ground.
Yeah.
The hardy ones, even in Ireland, even the hardy ones in Ireland, you should probably remove them for safety reasons.
Yeah.
I know people that leave them, and they come back every year, but in a perfect world, you should remove them. Definitely these fellas, the annual dahlias.
Yeah.
The small dahlias are called dahlieta. These will be the small dahlias.
Yeah. Okay.
You need to leave them. Dry them, store them in a cool, dry area, and they will be coming back next year. Okay. Same with those fellas.
Okay.
Petunias, those are trailing petunias.
Trailing petunias.
And we have upright double, the tuberosa, the super flowering petunia.
Petunias as well, yeah.
They will come back next year. If you have them in pots, you can just bring them in.
Bring them inside?
Bring them inside if you have room, and they will be fine. If not, you can remove the tubers as well. You store them in between some newspaper, okay. Put them in the shed. Yeah. And next year, in early spring, you start repotting them up again.
Repotting them, okay.
So, and we all know that those plants will be eventually going to the bin. But if you were living in Italy or in Spain, those plants,
France.
They keep in the pots in Andalusia. They have these patios inside the houses, in inner patios. Yeah. And they have these wonderful compositions of flowers, and they don't change them every year.
Okay.
They are there for the winter. They are sheltered. They are cold, but they come back.
They come back.
So they are not super hardy, but they are not annuals. Have that in mind if you have room, if you can keep them. I know that's not going to happen.
In a nice kind of area, but yeah, look, it's rare enough, as you said. With
see, those fellas are €5 each.
Yeah.
So it's worth it if you have room. Inside. If you're spending €5, if you buy 10 or 20, you're spending £100 in begonias. It's worth the effort if you have a shed. Trying to keep them alive for next year. You will be saving money for pints. Yeah.
For more important stuff like that, yeah.
So, all of them annuals. Then, deadheading. We all know deadheading. Yeah. Deadheading is essential.
Looking for a bit of decapitation on the marigolds.
Exactly. So, you can do finger. You can do with secateurs, probably better. Yeah. Finger, pinching, sometimes twisting. Yeah. Be careful. Trying to go deep, trying to go
right down to the stem.
Except in some plants that you don't want to go there.
Okay.
But normally that encourages the flowering. Again, they want to reproduce, they want to seed. If you take the seed pods out of them, what you're doing is teaching the plant, telling the plant that he's not going to reproduce, so she starts producing more flowers.
Producing more flowers, yeah.
So now, what do we want in a basket or in a window box?
Or the window boxes, yeah. So we've got a few kind of examples of window boxes here, but also the hanging baskets are so popular. Everyone loves to have them. They get them out of the shed, and what are the kind of things they need to do to prepare before we get to that?
People love hanging baskets. It surprised me initially here when I came to Ireland a lot.
Couldn't believe it.
When I was in B&Q working, and there was all these hangers, and I was like, what's the point of this? What's the point of this stupidity?
Yeah.
And then I saw they were flying, and I was like, what? Okay. Yeah. And now you started seeing them in every house.
Yeah.
And when they are well looked after, they are stunning.
Yeah, they're beautiful.
But now, what I see normally is half of the potential of the baskets.
Oh, look at you, always looking for higher standards, Miguel.
It's just... When you are in this business, you try to find the errors more than something to fix, more than something that is already working. But what do you want? Aside from a spectacular flowering, you want something that grows upright and something that trails.
Yes.
Okay. So for something that is upright, you can go to everybody knows the geraniums. Geraniums go very well. They start growing as a centerpiece. Mm-hmm. We have here, if you are in a shady area, it's a few plants that work better in shade. Work better. That they do well in shade. Mm-hmm. Okay? So geraniums will do well, or petunias will do more or less okay. You won't have the flowering.
It won't be as
spectacular.
Prolific. Yeah, spectacular. Yeah.
Than if it's south facing. Okay. But you have begonias, you have impatiens, especially the Basilisses. That's a New Guinea impatiens.
Impatient?
Yeah, impatiens.
Impatiens, okay.
It's the same family as the Basilissi. In fact, when a few years ago was that blight in the Basilisses, that was the only plant that you could find related. There's a similar flower, it's larger flower.
Yeah.
And it's not very good looking plant right now. It's only a few flowers, but see.
There's buds coming.
There's buds coming.
Yeah.
It's
but there's a lovely kind of a red, there's a red kind of going through the leaf underneath as well, and that's a real green on it.
You have loads of colors in these plants, with some purplish, some light blues, bi-tone colors.
Yeah.
Spectacular plants, very shade tolerant. They perform a little bit like begonias, even if it's very moist and some part of the plant rots.
Yeah.
The rest of the plant is fine. Yeah. See this? This is rotting.
There's bits and pieces there now that are a bit black.
And they can lose a branch or two, even they get soggy, and they just somehow they melt.
Okay.
It happens the same in here. Mm-hmm. But it comes back.
Yeah.
And it creates a decent bush, foot by foot tall bush.
Yeah. No, it looks like a lovely bush.
And if you can protect them, they will be coming back again. The spectacular plants when they are in full. Same as Basilissi, larger flower, bigger plants, more foliage, very nice centerpiece. So you want a centerpiece, you have a centerpiece, and then you want something that trails. Something that trails is, you can find plenty of things. Well, we have French marigolds here as well, that they do a nice centerpiece.
Yeah, they can be a nice little kind of a stand-up one as well too. They are very popular.
And yeah, they grow very nicely. The African marigolds are larger, very large flowers.
Okay.
They use them in wedding compositions sometimes, some countries, not here as far as I know. But they are very prolific as well. They are just coming. All these annuals, so-called annuals, have an explosive flowering.
Yeah.
So what you want is centerpiece, trailing, color combination. Remember color combination. You don't want something that is shading the colors. So you don't want pinky and pinky.
Pinky purple, yeah.
You want some, unless you want pastels, so you go to a full shade of pinks. But in a perfect world, see the pink and the yellow, they have a nice contrast. They shine together. Beautiful. For the people that is not watching watching the video.
And it's like here as well too, the pink
the white
and the white
combines with nearly anything.
Yeah.
So before you buy because it's plenty of beautiful two-tones petunias.
Yeah.
And two tones, and even the night sky.
The night sky one. This always gets me every year. It's like it's purple with the white dots. It looks like stars. Yeah. It's just absolutely beautiful. It's really, really nice.
But if you combine these two, see the purple picoty and the night sky, they won't shine together.
No, that's so true.
So you have to combine this blue. In this case, you can combine it with the red. Look at the difference. Yeah. The difference between the red and the blue. And the two tones of blue is totally significant.
Totally different. Yeah.
So be careful with the color, the color you choose, to make sure that combines well. If they are not in flower, you'll have pictures. So have a look at the pictures
of what it'll look like when it is.
Exactly. And now you have your plants, you have your selection, you have your baskets. You choose a good compost, any good compost. Any good compost of the compost we have here, or anywhere you want to go buy in the compost. If you want to buy an Aldi or Lidl or this place's compost, you know that is, you'll probably have troubles re-moistening when it gets dry. You have 0 to non-nutrients, or a little low nutrients.
Yeah.
And it's gonna cost you money after.
To actually fix it.
To fix it.
Yeah. So you're better off making the initial investment, but going with a good quality compost from a garden centre.
It's going to cost you a little bit more. Yeah. Just a couple of euros or €3 more.
Yeah. And
you're going to save in 10, 15 euro products after.
Yeah.
Because the compost is essential. Is essential. What I will do in my what I will actually do in my baskets is actually what I do with my lobelias. I love lobelias.
I was going to say, we haven't mentioned them. I was like, he's going to mention lobelias any second now.
I love lobelias.
You do love them.
You know what I do love them? Because there's too many flowers that you cannot go there and them.
Yeah.
So I decide not to do it.
Lovely small little flowers. And
sometimes
they're just
I go, and after 20 I said, that's enough.
Yeah.
Lovely glow in the dark. Some colors are stunning. And I put them in all my large pots where I have the acers, and I put them in the edges of the pot, not only hanging baskets. So I decorate the whole place. So if you have small little rooms in your borders, you can play with these plants as well. You don't need to get perennials or... So
with the good compost.
There
is also extra help.
Slow release food. Slow release food. Just scatter a few granules. And
this is my favorite one. We did this last year as well too. The aqua gel.
That's actually
water
a very
storing
handy
crystals. Yeah, you were
talking about it. It's a very handy thing.
Yeah.
The problem with the hanging baskets is they are hanging.
Yes.
And you're not going to be getting
unless you're 7 or 8 foot tall, you wouldn't be able to see.
Water them constantly. So you don't know, most of the times you don't bring them down. You don't know what you're doing. It's not easy to feed them. You're not going to go every day. With a ladder. So you're going to get a hose and do it from. So be careful because they need loads of water. You add this, it will be constantly releasing food. You add the aqua gel. That crystal will expand and retain moisture for a while. Okay, it's not the that you don't have to water.
No,
but it's
a way of it'll keep the water
for a longer time, and that's the major problem in baskets. When you water them, when they get dry, even if you water them up again, that's what you should do, obviously.
Yeah.
But the plants have been struggling for a while. They react.
Okay.
But do they react? How do they react? They go to lymph mode. They start dropping flowers.
Oh, yeah.
To concentrate in living. Okay. Some of them, they start producing flowers.
Yeah, okay.
But normally what they do is throw what is not necessary for them because they are about to die.
So that's them telling you really that they need a little bit of care.
So you got this.
Yeah.
And then any of those, the super cool.
Yeah, Miracle Grow, your favorite.
Tomato food.
Tomato food is also important.
Or you can use Grow Sure. It's a different brand. It's similar to all the Miracle Grow. It has more potash.
Okay.
So it has less nitrogen and more potash, so it should be better for flowering. This one is, we all know, is a very good for
all-rounder
for annuals.
Yes.
That should be more or less the same.
Yeah.
Maybe less green, but definitely good flowering as well.
Okay.
And don't forget to do this, even if you do the slow release.
Yeah,
if
you
you do
still
this
need to do that.
once a week,
Okay.
we are talking about having hanging baskets that your neighbors are gonna visit you only for having a look at them,
And they'll be dead
they're
jealous.
gonna be
Dead
bitching
jealous.
about you. Yeah. So if you want to make a difference, you
Yeah.
have to use these fellas once a week.
Oh, yeah.
Have in mind that you'll have for a couple of years or 3 years with this.
Yeah, I was going to say they do last a long time, so it's great. Up
You
to 96
have
watering cans.
with a watering can, you can definitely water 2 hanging baskets with a 2-gallon watering can,
Yeah.
and you're gonna have for next day is 2 spoons for a 2-gallon watering can. So it's essential. Okay,
Essential,
tomato
so-
food, it's all right, but those products, Grocer and the Miracle Grow,
All-Purpose.
are better.
Yeah. Okay.
Better for these purposes.
And
So-
that will basically have your window boxes and your hanging baskets looking beautiful for the rest of the summer. Listen, Miguel, thank you so much for all of those tips here on the Kerry Garden Show. That's it again for this week. More great information next week. Until then, happy gardening.